taken on for eternal, but
of course not.
It's recording. Yep.
I hear a familiar voice, Alex. Okay. Thank you all for giving me at least 10 minutes tonight. Originally, Sabrina was scheduled to be part of your team, and she is part of your team, Sabrina Gurley from Stuttgart. And together with Sabrina, I'm taking the Talent Sprint initiative. And I understood from her that there was, let's say, some request out of the team here to see whether elements from the design sprint as a format to allow professionals to perform on stage, whether we could actually also apply that to this sprint. So it's not like it's a different sprint, don't worry. It is a regular design sprint as Robert is intending, how Ian is facilitating with all the tools and the techniques, and inspired by the book of Jake Knapp, of course, and many others. But what we do in the talent sprint, at least here during the GVDS, is allow people to really shine on stage. It sounds a little bit popular how I say it, but it's really what we mean by it. So by just doing what you do best, be here, be yourself, demonstrate your skill sets, also not demonstrate them when you're not comfortable with them, just be yourself, and use that as an opportunity to actually learn as much as possible, but just think in the back of your mind that is also an opportunity to show who you are, how you think, what you do, to the peers here in your own team. And why do I say that? Because the talent sprint actually is a concept that we're trying to bring alive as an alternative to traditional recruitment. So the idea is that instead of updating your resume, instead of maintaining your LinkedIn profile, which is all about what you've done in the past, this is a moment where you can shine with the qualities and the capabilities that you have today. And that's a way to present yourself to hiring organizations that potentially might be interested in you. But I always say, and I'm a little bit in the recruitment business, but I'm not a recruitment expert, so don't misunderstand me. But I believe that employees and colleagues are the best recruiters. I'm not saying that recruiting professionals are not good recruiters, but I think the most honest and most sincere opinion about how it is to work at an organization, to get a feeling of the culture, is actually through people that work there already. And of course, the recruiters work there and they give some flavor. But I think peers that you potentially would work with are possible the best recruiters a company can have. They are the best brand the brand communicators. They are the loyalists. They are the way that what works well and what doesn't work in an organization. So you as a professional, if not self-employed, of course, can best represent your own employer in any setting, whether it's a networking meeting, a meetup, whether it is a workshop, whether it's a seminar or a conference where you go. You always have an opportunity to profile the company you work for. But it also means you see people in events like this, like the GVDS, in a sprint like this, where you think, hey, Alexander there, who is probably in Munich today, is wearing a nice hat. What's the story behind that hat? Or Lisa has a whiteboard behind her in her living room. What is motivating her to put a whiteboard in a living room? So the stories that you actually activate together give you the opportunity to actually get to know each other from a different level. And that's exactly what we're trying to do in the talent sprint if we would do this for recruiting organizations. It's trying to bring people together in a context where they can experience each other in a different way, in a real way, in an authentic way. And whether you sit in your living room or at an office or in your bedroom, where you work today is not so important, but see every moment as an opportunity to shine. And Ian, maybe later tonight, or I'll come back in a little bit later, I will facilitate a short conversation, which is part of the format that we use. Sabrina, in the coming days, will be part of your team. And we'll make sure with Ian that it's not only working in silence or together alone or in a very democratic voting and no talking at all, but that there will be moments that you have the opportunity to also demonstrate how you think or to debate something, because those are the moments where you can shine on stage, and that's what we feel is important. So enjoy it as a normal design sprint, enjoy it as a virtual design sprint, and let's capture every opportunity to showcase yourself, but also to complement the other that's here, because we believe that complementing and feedback is a very good ingredient also to learn from each other. Maybe to round off, as a preparation, and some people approached me on that, the talent sprint mural that I prepared for all of you includes a profile, which is of course not mandatory to complete. If you have no time or you have nothing to say, please skip it, but it would be nice. Because why? It goes a little bit beyond the LinkedIn profile that as everybody has seen from each other. It's a little bit about what motivates you, what drives you, what inspires you, where do you come from, or actually, what can we wake you up for at night? Or what is your favorite toy that you played with in the past? Because it gives a little bit a different flavor of yourself, and it can maybe trigger storytelling. So throughout the coming days, just have a glimpse at it, look at it. Sabrina or myself, we will capture assets from the sprint event, nice group photos, or maybe a nice presentation we're trying to capture in the recordings that Ian is making, and see that all as presence. So this is presence to boost your professional profiling, maybe LinkedIn communication. Maybe you think, hey, a compliment from Alexander might actually work very well in a resume that I'm going to prepare for a next job. Maybe I have to ask Alexander whether I can quote it. Things like that. So see it all as, let's say, career boost materials, and just a great event working together, and hopefully even having more fun together as well.
Thank you, Jeroen.
Any questions? Maybe before I leave, I maybe can steal 1 extra minute and look at the clock with half an eye. But are there any questions maybe, or unclarities or insecurities? It's all fine to ask.
Do you already have tested the talent sprint, or do you have a use case or a certain persona in mind, or like a journey of how you want to support people while they shine?
It's a very good one. We did 2 pilots in October with actually people from the GVDS community, but also from outside the GVDS community. And the idea was there that we tried out the tool sets and the exercises that we have in mind. A few of them we will do here as well. We can't do it all because we want to respect the GVDS process and what you all enrolled for, but we wanted to give it a little bit of extra flavor where it's possible. So that's where we have tried out 2 times 2 days. Until now, during the GVDS, we have actively applied it in 1 full sprint of Team Talent. Coincidentally, it was called Team Talent. That was not a makeup, but that's where we applied it. And it is, let's say, softly introducing some of the methodologies in the tools, but also feedback process. And your facilitator was part of that team. So if you have questions about his experiences, you can always ask him as well. So Ian was a participant there. So he has a little bit of the feeling of what it could create. So use cases in that sense, several pilots, different type of settings. And the journey actually we are shaping based on all these experiences. Our idea, and in a small network approach, is that after the GVDS, we are going to consolidate all the learnings so that we can really translate it into a product, probably in a service, either for individuals in open sprints, open talent sprints, or maybe more closed, more commercial for, let's say, hiring organizations that are looking for people in a certain domain space.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually putting together an event at the end of January, and I have a similar agenda. My approach is just through live design and then swiftly moving into product. And we should talk about that another time with more detail.
Good. You notified me. My name is consistent on LinkedIn and other media.
Cool.
Other questions? Okay. Well, I wish you a good evening. I'll probably see you around 10 o'clock when I do a quick check-in to see how you guys are doing, but fly away. Take it away, Ian. Enjoy.
Okay, thank you. You also, good luck. Greetings to Team NTV.
I will. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, that's...
Sorry, I just want to say one thing quick. I have to leave in about an hour. I have to take my daughter to gymnastics because it's not evening time here.
Okay.
Just a little heads up that I'll be heading out about an hour.
All right. Let me see if we can manage that. Well, first thing we have to do, there are 3 exercises today. They're all about 30 minutes, so the most of the part you can join, so that would be no problem. As for the other parts, I will be your humble facilitator in training, so I'll try my best to keep everything on track, and will do anything to answer your questions about the technique. If there are any questions about the mural or some exercises, or you can't find the connection or anyway, please address them to me. I will also try to make sure the time is correct. I want to respect everybody's time. So it could be that I sometimes got some conversations off if they're going to be not relevant. So that doesn't mean I don't like you. I love you all, but sometimes I need to focus on the time. And besides that, Lisa would be our co-facilitator and help us out for any questions about the exercise or any wrap up or more in the context of the topic. So she will help out really good, I think. And for now, we're gonna just start, and I wanna also, if it's possible, just in a moment, first we have a look at the SME, what happened there with the team who did the SME interviews. And in a few hours, I would like to make a group photo. As you well know, there is a good case of beautiful pictures. And I love to have one of my team too. Let me see. Shall we do the group photo now? Then we have that finished. Thumbs up if everybody agrees. Okay. Maybe we just start with something you've got here on your desk, just so something what's about you, a personal look. Andreas already has something perfectly. That's great. I'll have a book.
Oh,
maybe.
Hold on.
Who knows? Great. And I love to hear the stories on Slack later on about it.
Okay.
You ready? Matthew, Michael. There we are. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Check. Just another one to be sure. Great. I will share that one. Let us see. All right. We have a SME interview team who's been working really hard the past few days. That will be Alex, Teresa, Jürgen, Lisa, and Sabrina, who did a perfect job on searching really well on recruiting some experts. That was a difficult job, I think, with a great idea of Jürgen for also putting some interviews that were already on YouTube, as you've seen. And I see a lot of How My Wees. So what I'm going to do now is I'm copying all those How My Wees to the next part of the session. And maybe, Lisa, would you be so kind to talk a bit about the interview you did with Sabrina?
Yes, totally. I have my notes right here. So yeah, Mario, he's a futurist and trend researcher just in the right field. I don't know him personally until now, but he's been suggested from all kinds of different people for our challenge. And so I reached out to him. He's been writing about 10 different books around the topic automobiles and autonomous driving, actually. Yeah, and he's been living in Silicon Valley since 2011 and driving a Tesla for the longest time. So he's kind of biased on the topic, I have to tell you this. So, and we studied both at the Technical University. He comes from a chemistry background. And he started by telling us a lot of the fuel cells in hydrogen cars and trucks, and how it is made, how hydrogen H2 is made, that it's highly exothermic, the reaction. There's lots of energy stored in that. It's hard to store. It costs a lot of space, and it dissipates really quickly. So it's generated through an electrolytical process, costly, difficult, costs a lot of energy, said that already, takes a lot of storage. So the only way to do it economically would be with photovoltaics and sustainable energy generation methods, actually. And yeah, it doesn't make sense ecologically at this point, based on what he said. And because they're also still using fossil fuels as a source to create that hydrogen. So it's kind of, yeah, a little bit perverted, and it adds more CO2 to the atmosphere as it is being produced right now. Then he said the next problem would be that it needs to be compressed down to 200 bars. You need to store it in a certain way, otherwise it dissipates, as I said before. And the tanks will actually always be leaking, and so it's basically like a bomb. Can everybody hear me? Because I just see your eyes. Okay, cool.
Yes, I can hear you very clear.
Okay, everybody's
Loudly, and we are listening very intensely.
Fully
Yeah.
focused.
Yeah, okay. So it's basically a huge bomb, and it can blow up the car, and gas stations have been blown up. And then, you know, there's only Hyundai and Toyota producing these cars, really, mostly in Asia. Europe is more electric. Silicon Valley is too. If I remember correctly, it's just 11 stations to charge with hydrogen in Silicon Valley even, which is like super innovative compared to the rest of the world. And yeah, the good part is that for car makers, it's kind of attractive because they can, it requires a lot of metal pieces to produce a hydrogen car. It has a high complexity for mechanics, and traditional car makers can do it because they already have a lot of knowledge in the metal business and how to build hydrogen metal frameworks. So that would be one thing on the plus of actually producing these cars. And you can bring more people and employees into that technology than you would be able to with battery electric cars. So yeah, in Asia, there's Hyundai, I think Licoma, and Toyota Mirai. Those are the two most popular hydrogen cars. And the problem is right now that hydrogen is so expensive as a fuel that Toyota, for instance, is giving it for free to their customers because otherwise it wouldn't be affordable for the end user at all. It costs about 4 times as much as gasoline right now, which is crazy. And if you think that you're using fuels, fossil fuels to produce the hydrogen, then it's even, you know, it seems like not such a good idea. So then Mario said that with his Tesla right now, he's spending about $240. He was spending $240 for gasoline, and now he only spends $80 for electricity. So electricity is very cheap. And this is one of the biggest challenges for hydrogen cars at this moment. Also, Tesla has supercharger networks, and there you can take it for free and drive a long distance. Normally, you wouldn't go to a supercharger, but you do it at home and at work and at your local supermarket. And that's why a whole generation that is driving with electric cars right now is kind of getting lost because people forget they're not used to going to the gas station anymore that have electric cars. So how can you lose a generation and then bring them back into the gas station to charge a possible hydrogen car? That's what he said. So yeah. The long term, the electric vehicle is much cheaper. The electricity is much cheaper. And again, the only way to actually sell hydrogen cars is not to charge for them, for the hydrogen, because it wouldn't be affordable for the user. Because of these factors, there are very few hydrogen cars. And one gas station for a hydrogen car costs about $1.5 million right now. And then he compared in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, there are 3.5 million people, just 11 gas stations. Mostly they are, for hydrogen, they're mostly combined with regular gas stations. And yeah, there was an explosion in the factory, then it was all closed down. In that time when that happened, also in Norway and Sweden, everything closed down. And electricity is just everywhere already, and hydrogen is kind of non-existent and very dangerous and expensive. So that's the current state. And then he said also the network is an issue for hydrogen fuel cells, and the length of charging electric vehicles is just much longer. So that would be 5 to 10 hours with a supercharger. That's even shorter right now. Okay, then we talked about the weight of batteries. And yeah, he basically said, Mario, that in 5 to 10 years, hydrogen cars will not be a solution because of all these reasons, and the 21st century will be electric, based on him being a futurist in the automobile industry. And in the future, it will be super expensive to have hydrogen, and electric cars are also very expensive to maintain, actually. Does it make sense? Yeah, and he thinks personally that Hyundai and Toyota also will abandon their hydrogen cars because of all of these reasons. Just like for VW, diesel didn't make sense at some point to produce anymore. So yeah, ecologically, hydrogen is only 15% efficient. The production of electricity is so much more efficient. That was his conclusion. I'm about to finish up, I hope. And the mix of fossil and fuel electricity is way more sustainable, according to Mario. So then Sabrina asked, well, what can we do? So we have a breakthrough and change, everything when it comes to hydrogen, and said, then there would be much more solar and wind power requested in order to produce sustainable energy to create hydrogen. Then it would have a fair chance, maybe, yeah. But the psychological danger of riding on an H2 bomb, as he said, is just very high, and it's just a highly explosive and dangerous liquid. And and also the behaviors of people who are even now not used to going to gas stations anymore is also an issue. I'm trying to close up here really fast. I'm just checking my notes if there's anything else that might be relevant. Oh yeah, then we talked about trains. So for the next 20 years, he said that they will run on electricity is totally fine. Hydrogen would not be a solution. And for buses, they are actually moving from diesel to electric, and they have mostly battery electric buses. So right now, apparently 16,400 buses have been replaced from diesel to electric. And in China, it was about, I think he's talking about China, 21,000 out of 425,000. So that's, I think, 5%. Yeah, and he said, well, the electric buses will drive around for 10, 15 years more. It doesn't make sense to go on hydrogen again. Flixbus in Germany also has electric buses by now. And the biggest challenge, to sum it up, for hydrogen is that it needs a significant improvement. And the economic viability of actually generating the hydrogen is also the issue. So our challenge is actually not, oh, that's what Sabrina said, that we don't want to make a product.
Yeah, we keep that open. No.
Yeah. She just said in the interview that we're not necessarily wanting to make a product and just explore the topic, and maybe what the outcome could be is a list of difficulties and challenges. But I agree to disagree, honestly. I want to build something. Yeah, so summing up, last page, perspective from all of that vision. So the rule breaker, as Mario said, for hydrogen technology is economical perspective, that E and gas is so much cheaper. And you don't only have to, go to that value with hydrogen, you actually have to beat it by a certain factor so that it's even interesting to be produced and put out there on the market. And also the convenience of charging at home with a supercharger with electric cars beats that every time on top of it. So within the next 10 or 15 years, battery electric cars will improve. Tesla will change their range from 500 to about 700 kilometers. In 7 to 10 years, it will be 1,000 kilometers and charging even faster, and hydrogen cars won't be valid anymore, according to Mario. And also the infrastructure changes that are needed in order to have that network for hydrogen cars to charge them and have the gas stations and all of that is something, okay, who's going to pay for that? Governments, auto manufacturers. So nobody wants to pay for that really. And yeah, most of the gas stations are public, and there are thousands of, yeah, exactly. There are about 17,000 publicly available gas stations, but hundreds of thousands of private e-charging stations. So the network of electricity is just so much higher, right?
Okay, let's round up, Lisa, for
yeah.
I think that's a perfect recap actually for the interview you've done. So
I did a lot of notes, I'm just
yeah, especially, but I think the main idea is perfectly
cool.
Said about what, especially for those who didn't see the interview. So you have a bigger idea now. I'm gonna follow you all. Please go to your mural, and I will summon you all. We're now at the first exercise where we have most of us have collected the how much we's based on YouTube videos and the Lisa's interview with Sabrina.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to do now is, as you see, you'll have here some reference material about the problem statement and the who, the what, the where, and the why we earlier did it in the kickoff. That would be just giving us a bit more direction in where we want to go. But we focus now on the how much we's to get a better direction. So here beneath, we have all the how much we's collected. And what I'm going to ask you now is I will set up a 5 minutes from now and try to categorize them within an affinity diagramming above in those labels here in the yellow parts. Try to group the how much we's which are related. And if you have some non-related or redundant cars, put them in the gray part over here. So if it's a double, exactly the same card, put them there because they're not relevant anymore, or double, or you couldn't fit them in a category, then place them under the uncategorized cards. So you may start, and I will start the time, and I will see how far we go.
Mm-hmm. Ah, okay.
Let me know if you need more labels to categorize, and I will just copy some.
Can we not do that?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I just managed. Okay, cool.
Okay, great.
Okay, my mural is blocking and it's being incredibly slow. I can't seem to drag anything.
Could you try to refresh it?
I did. It's just blocking all the time and going like super slow. I'll try again.
Okay, let me know if it's
Lisa,
going better.
Gila, is it possible that it's the bandwidth issue? Perhaps it helps if you turn off your camera during these exercises, because Zoom video eats a lot of bandwidth.
Exactly.
I know. I'll try now better.
Great picture, by the way, with the sunglasses.
Danke.
Are we allowed to talk between or not?
Sure.
Yeah. I think sustainability is missing. We have a lot of stuff with production, but actually I think it would make sense to kind of
Yeah, I agree.
pick that one up.
Yep. Don't know if I'm writing that correctly. Sustainability. I put it in the upper left, a new label.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, we're going great now. So if you see double ones or those of you who are really related, you can give them the same color and we can check as a team if they are really the same or we see them as a different card. For example, if this one would be the same, I give them a yellow as this one, if that were the case.
Okay. We're all moving it over one another with the cursors.
Yeah. But if it's in a different one, it's interesting because we think it's a different category. We can talk about that, why that is.
Huh.
So we got now 5 left.
I think that the production category is still too long. Maybe we can split it up.
Well, Robert showed me a way how to do that, but I don't know how to do that best now. If you just make a same row again, you mean? To make it easier to read?
No, not to read, but like normally when you say it's more like than 10 things, then...
Yeah, I agree. And the question here is then, could you filter it with a new category?
Yeah. Okay.
So I see here, for example, reduce.
But we have now 2 times production.
Yeah, but maybe it's, you see, maybe we can split that production under 2 categories.
Well, production could be economical and it could also refer to the materials.
For example, those 3 are all about reducing.
I think at the moment it's only an issue that we can read it and vote easily. Mm-hmm. Even if there's 2 lines of production, 2 columns, I don't think it's a problem.
Can I just say something quickly, Ian? It's
sure.
Don't get too hung up in the categories and stuff, because once we get to voting, it's really irrelevant.
Exactly. All right. Well, time is up. I will give you about maybe 1 minute to just look at if you see double ones or things that are redundant or exactly the same, and give them the same color. So it would be easier when voting to read all the houdmatwees. And please make it the same color, because if they're all green, that's going to be difficult. So give them a different color that's relating to each other.
Thank you. Can I still move one sticky note?
Yes, you can.
Production to stakeholders, this one.
Yeah, if you think it's really relevant, please do.
Yeah.
There's one with a border. Is that for a reason?
No.
Okay. All right. Are there cards that are really exactly the same and where one would be redundant, or are they just a little bit different? I will take that as
I think in the safety category, all these marked colored stickies are the same. It's public safety concerns, fear of explosions. Basically, they could all be pushed on top of each other.
But I would say that how might we overcome public safety concerns? It's like public, it's like the governing bodies and safety concerns, while how might we reduce fear is a feeling of one person. I would say that's a little bit different.
That's a bit different. I agree. So I would see if it's about beyond safety. So those exactly could be the same, or group them. Counter the object that either is dangerous. Would everybody see this all as exactly the same? Please speak up if you don't.
Basically, I think if we have a column of stickies in the same color, we should just put them on top of each other, and the top one is to be
Now, what we normally do, they will be saved, so I can just put those 4 as redundant for now.
Okay.
And then we can vote on this one, and it will relate also to these.
Okay.
So, okay, clear. Then now we've got it all categorized, and I'm going to start a voting session. We are with 8 people.
What about these blue ones, filling station? Isn't that very close to each other?
Increase the number of, how do we increase the number of hydrogen gas can achieve the net order dominance?
Yeah, the same.
All right. Then I will just take that one also.
And the blue one to the left as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Can we remove the scale, or is it irrelevant here? Yeah.
Not placed, so everything that makes it more easier to vote.
Mm-hmm.
The violet ones here in the first column can also be combined, I think.
Does anybody else have a different opinion about that?
Well, one thing is how to produce it, and the other thing is how to make the production more efficient for companies. So I might actually take that and put it to the stakeholders, but
okay.
Yeah.
Sure, then we leave it in, and it's for the voting. So what Michael said, it's not really that relevant for the voting. So let's focus on the voting now. And now I'm going to think about how many votes how many cards we have. So that will be 3, 6, 9, 10, about 50. 25, we're at 8. I think I'm gonna give you 12 votes each.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start the voting session now. You will see a pop-up.
One question, Ian. Did you take all the stickies, or only the stickies from the first interview?
All of them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, all of them. I'm starting the voting session now. I will give you 3 minutes.
12 votes is, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
And now you can start the voting. If you click on it, you will see a number at the right above the post-it. And if you double click it, or you want to remove a vote, just hold the shift and click it on the card again, and that will remove the vote.
Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, I will not be voting because I just want to focus on the time and the mural. So. Gisela is already ready. Andreas has 6 left. The rest 7, Teresa and Jürgen 8. We have 1 minute left. And the anonymous seahorse is also ready at the finish line.
Again, one of those sentences I never would like to say, I am the seahorse.
Well, you're number 2.
Yes.
Well, we have 20 seconds left, but if people would like to have a little bit more time, please tell me. Yes? Okay, then we'll add a minute. And Jürgen is finished.
No, not.
No, not. I see 0 votes. Oh, they're not happy that. 2 votes. Oh, he's really keen on his votes. We have 30 seconds left. And Teresa finished. Jürgen, you're finished now or still doubting?
I have 1 more vote.
1 more vote for Lisa. The last one is always the hardest one. Great. Or on the last second. Time's up.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Thank you very much. Great job. And we're going to end the voting session now. And you will see the results. So, oh, great. 3 unique photos for how might we find a new Elon Musk for hydrogen. Then the 5 votes for the second one with how might we change the conversation from there only being one alternative fuel winner. And the third one would be the how might we produce more hydrogen with green energy. If I see, that would be 5 votes, 3 uniques. That would be the top 3.
Actually, there is another one with 3 unique votes under the 4 votes. I don't know if that counts as well. If we ask about, if we say unique votes are those votes that count more.
Ian, what about taking the top 5 ones and then doing either a second vote or this cursor thing?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what I usually would do in a live, in a real.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll take the top 5. Okay, great. Thank you for suggesting that. And I will copy the number 1 to the 5, the 4.
What actually is the name of the cursor thing?
I will have it underneath. I will show you in a sec. It's called here the arrange by interest, but I don't know if that's the neat name for it. So I will summon everybody so you can see how this part looks like. Now I only have to find the 5th one. That would be this one. How about we change? Okay. Well, we have those 5 how about we's now. which are most top voted. What I'm going to do is I'm taking the first one and I'm going to place it with my cursor on the interest board or line, how you would call it. And please wiggle your mouse and keep on wiggling so everybody sees where you're at. And then I will define which place this post-it will go. So I see 2 more in the middle part. I see 3 in the middle part and 2 more at the side. I think it should be somewhere here in the middle. And then we will see how the rest will go. So this will be, I think, the best starting point. Now I want to take the next one, and for the card, how might we find Elon Musk? Now we have the card, how might we make hydrogen more affordable for end users? And now I would ask you to do the same, and if this would relate to the other post-it, be more on the left side, so a lesser interest, or on the higher side. And here it's, oh, we've got more, perfect. 4 more on the left side, 3 also. That is quite of a chance. More, okay, the animal sea turtle agrees also a bit more on the left, so I'm going to put it more over here where everybody is dancing all around.
So funny to watch. Correct.
And I will do exactly the same for the rest. So the next post-it would be, how might we produce hydrogen with green energy? And relating to the ones that are already defined, please state your mouse cursor where this would be best. The most will be exactly a bit higher. So for the 2s on the left, I would put it a bit at the left side, so we have enough for the other post-its. All right, that was clear. Now this 4th post-it, how about we change the conversation from here only being one alternative fuel winner? So please wiggle your mouse again, and that's quite anonymous with a clear vote that it's on the left side of the how do we produce more hydrogen. And the last one, relating to all the other post-its, how might we make hydrogen more attractive than electric in public transportation system or cities? So please wiggle your mouse again. And this is going to be a tricky one because it's difficult to count the cursors if there's some moving. But I think I see 4 on the left side and 4 on the right side. So that's going to be also a tricky one. And maybe I should just put them a bit more over here. People have to wiggle a bit more. So I see a bit more to the right. So I'll change it about here. So that would be the case. In which priority we're going to set these, how might we's. So this would be how this exercise would have been done, and we determined now which were the most important how might we's. And if we now have to put on the top 3, that would be from right to left, and will be that these 3 will be the most chosen topics.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take those 3.
Just on a side note, guys, if you don't want to see your cursors, on the left-hand side in Mural, you'll see an icon, your picture of what your anonymous creature is or animal is. You can just select it and click Show Cursors, then that'll hide it.
Yep.
Where would that be? Because if I click on my pic, I don't see anything like it.
So you're clicking on your animal at the moment?
Maybe.
Or your creature?
Okay.
In the middle? Yeah, sorry.
The bottom.
Yep.
At the bottom of the page.
And that means the others don't see me moving the cursor in that case? Is that right?
Other people can still see your cursor, but you can't see everyone else's, because for me personally, I always switch it off because it just becomes overwhelming seeing everyone moving around the page all the time. So it's just an option there for you if you do want to switch off.
But for this arranged by interest, you basically had to turn it on because otherwise you wouldn't see the.
Yeah, that's Yeah, that's a choice.
I turn mine off because I don't want to be influenced by other people, but it's yeah, it's up to yourself.
Okay, well, thank you, Michael, for that explanation of the feature. We'll going on. For Teresa, maybe have to go in a sec. I will give you the explanation of the next exercise, or maybe Lisa want to do it.
Hold on. What exactly do you want me
We
to?
will go into the next exercise, which is the LTG, the long-term goal. So how would we see about this topic, what it would be in from 2 years from now, how this exercise works?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can give an intro on how the LTG works in general. So essentially what you want to do is during the sprint, you're looking at a year, but beforehand you do a long-term goal, which is essentially 2 years. Is this the same way as you're doing that here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So basically we're doing a mini moonshot in order to create a better real goal. And that's why we're looking at the long-term goal first, you know, and looking into 2 years ahead and being very optimistic actually. Exactly, yeah. I mean, it says all of that in here. It's very good how it's done already. Yeah. So basically you start a sentence with, usually you would start a sentence with in 2 years time, ... and then you write something there that is optimistic and the ideal case of what could happen in our scenario.
Great, thank you, Lisa. Well, you see the reference material. I was on each exercise, it will copy this. So every time you can look back at what we have achieved or voted on. So now you see the top how my we's in blue, the ones we just have voted. And the exercise now will be that we have a few minutes. I will put on 3 minutes to write down the long-term goal, which you can see here is in 2 years long. Hydrogen will be one of the etc. etc.
Okay, based on the top 3 how might we's, right? Based
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
LTGs. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Check.
So I will start the timer, and please let me know if there are questions. Maybe on the next session I would have some music played on during those exercise.
Yes.
I shall look at something for that.
Actually, on Spotify, there's the AJS workshop playlist.
Yeah, I have
We
that.
all know that, yes.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
Yes, exactly. It's like the #1 top design sprint thing. Actually, we could do something like, yes, do the second one. I don't know if anyone else has a list of music to listen to.
Yeah, multiple. Robert has a YouTube version. I made a GVDS copy with people added numbers, and there are a lot of those.
I could put the Scottish bagpipes on. I'm joking. I don't want to listen to that.
How's everybody doing? We have 1 minute left.
Oh, actually, we don't have any more safety issue now in the top 3. Interesting. A lot of the stuff that I wanted to write doesn't make sense. We really have to focus on the top 3 how might we's now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is the time up already?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, please finish your last post-it. And we're gonna round up now. So Gisela, I don't know if you're still thinking about writing something down in your last post-it or just are.
No, I already wrote.
Could you?
And then it just continues to be very slow. But I
Okay.
already wrote. I'm just trying to deselect.
Check. All right. Well, what I'm gonna do
This
is.
just gets so it just blocks and then it takes
Okay.
ages to move.
I will copy them down here, and we do the same exercise for the affinity diagram. So I'm gonna summon you all. Hopefully that works for you, Gisela. So you're faster there. And I will give you a few
Actually,
minutes.
it works. If when you summon, it works.
Yeah, great.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It would also always so easy to summon people in a live scenario.
Yeah, exactly. That would be. All right, I give you 3 minutes to do the same exercise as we did before with the how about you questions.
Excellent point.
And for here, the same is that if there are doubles or redundant cards, you can put them on the right-hand side.
Uh-huh.
Teresa, are you still there?
Yes, I don't know why the video stopped, and
Okay.
I figure if I mess with it, I'll just end up logging myself out completely. So I'm just gonna leave it as is.
I was thinking, or she could be really, really still and focusing on which card
She
she's
hasn't
gonna
moved in 10 minutes. She's really serious.
Yeah, I thought you were thinking, but that was
Yeah, the mouse is still moving, so it's all good. Thank you.
okay. Great. Well, you're doing great. We have 1 minute left.
The public transport and trucks means both, or means it could be public transport or it could be trucks.
It could mean both. Heavy vehicles. Yeah, the trend seems to be that the adoption will be faster with heavy vehicles or larger vehicles.
Maybe you could add that on the post-it, and then maybe it would be more clear. All right, 16 seconds, and I think we're almost done. So that's great. All right, let's round up. I shall put these a bit more up. Well, these are a bit more clear and less than the Help My Wii, so that would be a quick voting session, I hope. We never know. Okay, I'm gonna start a voting session again. For now, I'm giving you, I think, what would be best? 4 votes. Next. And 3 minutes to vote on your long-term goal. There's always a few questions about how many dots you give for how many people and how many post-its.
There's a formula for that, I believe, but
Yeah, AJ in Smart says divide them by 2, or you have the version for divide them per how many people there are and how many, so each card can be voted on. But that doesn't always work out.
What's your formula?
Gut feeling.
How can I learn that?
practice and failure.
Practice. Yeah, I notice I give
Thank you, guys.
I have a teams where I do the Lightning Decision Jam on my work. I'm going to train all my teams to use the Lightning Decision Jam, and I noticed that there are a lot of situations where it doesn't fit or do fit. It depends. It's really interesting, actually. Maybe I should make an application that does the formula for you.
Like a website calculator.
Yeah, exactly. Just an easy online tool to just put in your post-its and your number of people, and it gives you a result of how many dots you should give.
There's a double with the pricing, by the way. Number 2 and 3 with the pricing. Anyways.
Pricing 2 and 3. Yeah. All right. Oh. I come with them during the voting session.
Mm-hmm.
So you can ignore that one. Then if you voted them, just vote on the second one and not the third one. Otherwise they are divided. Okay, 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
And the anonymous sea turtle, and Jürgen is doubting again. No, he's finished.
Mm-hmm.
So anonymous sea turtle, do you need more time? Check. Exactly on time. So I will end the voting session now. I will see what the results will be. So there's a clear winner. And that is how might we, in 2 years' time, 80% of the hydrogen production will be green. So that's a clear focus. All right, and I'll summon everybody. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy pasta it over here.
Copy pasta.
I love it. I love it.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah.
That was exactly the sense of it.
All right. Here we are.
Is there actually a way that I can see you guys? Okay, I can put you on top. No, nope, that didn't work.
In which way?
Yeah, I wanted to put you guys on top of the mural. Now I have it. Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
great. Well, for Sana now, it goes really good with the exercises. So, is everybody still on board? Gisela, are you still there? I don't know if her connection is. I will summon her, so that will be quickly. I see 7 people, so that will be okay. I see 8. Oh, there she is. I see her moving now, so that's okay. Well, going to the next exercise for today and tonight, it will be the last exercise, is the sprint questions. And let me see, maybe Lisa, what will you explain this one?
We've done the LTGs right now, and they are very optimistic, and we're looking into the ideal world. The can-we's are actually the most important part, because they're looking into the apocalypse, into everything that's going wrong. So what we want to look at is everything that can go wrong, and then write a question down in the sense of, can we prevent apocalypse A, B, C, you know, in such a way? Can we make sure that such and such doesn't happen? Can we inform people that such and such works out, or something like that? Does it make sense the way I explained it? Usually
Yeah.
have examples with me. Okay. So it's about being pessimistic this time.
I'm on mute again, sorry. All right, thank you very much, Lisa. I will summon everybody to the place where we can add our can we questions. I will make some more space and some more post-its. And I will give you 5 minutes to write down as much as can we questions you can. And in this case also, with each time in these exercises, quantity above quality, and we will make sure that the best ones are voted. Teresa, you're still frozen. You'll be a perfect person for someone who wants to paint you. You can sit perfectly
It's
still.
funny. The camera's just gone off, despite it says that the video's still going. So
Yeah.
It's just me who hears that strange conversation in the back.
Sorry?
No, there's a radio or television on. What
Okay.
I suggest, maybe people could put them on mute.
No, I think it's my heater. Is it gone now? Should we go
No.
now? Okay.
So 1 minute left.
It's so annoying when Miro blocks and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, terrible. I understand.
Like being the only kid on the playground. You can't go on the swing.
Hey guys,
I've found,
that's
I'm
like
gonna
the
head out.
perfect. That's like the perfect analogy.
Maybe putting some Canwees on the chat, Gisela, send them to me and I will put them in the post-its. Maybe that works.
if you actually just change to your mobile phone for Zoom and just use
No,
your
actually,
computer.
I'm using the Zoom on the phone, so I
Okay.
wouldn't overcharge the computer.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just that my computer is fixing again, so I'm using an old one. It's just no. I managed to put a couple that I wanted, but it's just so slow.
Okay.
Patience
Or
is a virtue.
maybe
If
put
I need something, I'll text you.
okay,
I'll
or
put you on the.
on Slack or something, and then I will put them on Mural.
All right, I'm gonna have to go, guys. Thank you. I will see the results shortly.
Yes, thank you very much, Therese. Have a great night. Oh, day
You
exactly
too.
for you. Okay.
Afternoon. It's late afternoon.
Yeah, late afternoon. Okay, bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. So time is up. So please take your last card and slowly round it up.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, great. All right. In this case, the same exercise as the two before. I'm copying them down, right down here. I will summon you all.
And how do you summon people? Do you only have the button? It's so powerful.
Yeah, I have the superpower, the Mural superpower. It's a facilitator. Jeez.
Damn it.
It's that complicated, okay?
Yeah. Feature. It's a feature for the facilitator in Mural. So
I figure.
yeah.
Okay, now that we are summoned.
I will show you how it looks like.
Oh, cool.
Someone made a picture, right?
Yeah, I just made a screenshot so you can see how it looks. Drag and drop. You see the buttons. If I click it here, I have these options extra.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can ask to be followed, or you just do the top-down summon everyone.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly. And then you see up in the upper there says facilitator superpowers. You could try it out. If you got just a personal mural, you can make a mural and invite people anonymous, and you have the same features.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to invite you all just so I can summon. All right, so we're doing the same thing again for the...
Yes, exactly. So I'm giving you let's say 5 minutes, it will be more than enough to categorize them.
Okay.
Do you hear the music?
Yeah. Like Super Mario.
That is facilitation superpower music, or
Yep. It's actually a YouTube design sprint playlist I found.
On the account of being anal, there are rulers in this program, and then everything is in a nice structure and grid. Am I the only one bothered by stuff like that?
No, I know the feeling.
Hurts me physically. So don't wonder if I move around your stuff. Okay.
All right. These can be moved.
it's always funny. Do you have?
Let me see. I think we are done. Great. So have anybody of you encountered any redundant cards or some really like ones, doubles? So just have a half a minute looking at if there are doubles.
Well, they are similar, but not the same.
Those two are exactly the same here. Can we get, so I'll put one as redundant.
No. But those two that are marked in blue are similar, but not the same.
No,
right?
then we leave it at that. That's okay.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm gonna stop the time and timer, and we'll start a voting session right now. And we can vote on our sprint questions. 1, 2, 3. There, says. Okay. Start a voting session. I will each give you 6 votes and give you a good 5 minutes to think good about the sprint questions you would like to take on. Anybody care for a little bit of music?
Yes, please.
Yes, please go on.
Then
But not the Super Mario thing.
not the Super Mario thing. I'll just skip the next.
No.
Oh, it's commercials. Terrible. I will mute myself for a sec.
Are you not paying for Spotify?
No, it's YouTube.
So you're not paying for YouTube?
So you don't have an ad?
No. I have Spotify, but not up and running right now. So.
I think that's a lot of time for so little votes.
Well, people still haven't selected all that time of their votes, so.
Let's see.
Guys, I'm gonna have to leave because I'm basically being kicked out. And also the character is really not the best. But okay, this was the last exercise, right?
Sorry? This was the last
This was the last
exercise.
exercise
Yes.
for tonight.
Yes.
Okay, so not so I don't feel so guilty for leaving now.
No, it's perfectly okay. Thank you very much, Gisela. Have a great
Okay,
night.
I'll try to get a better computer for tomorrow's session.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay, bye.
All right. So Andreas has just 2 left, and the sea turtle 4. And Lisa is back, and she voted again. Okay, will be a neck and neck race 2-1-1 for Andreas and the anonymous sea turtle. And Andreas finished the finish line, so yes, we're done. Great. Now, then I will stop time also and end the voting session. Drum rolls, and we've got a close call, but one winner if I look at the unique voters. So 4 votes for how we convinced the transportation industry to change to hydrogen. 4 out of 4. And the second one would be, can we open up the conversation to having more than one fuel winner? I like that one. And we've got 3 ones for the third one, and I think we have to select 3 can we questions, if I'm correct. Oh, my mural is going a bit stuck. Excuse me.
Should be 3.
Yeah. So I think we should do the same exercise here with arrange by interest.
Can we name it like the cursor dance?
Yes.
That would be way more appropriate naming.
Cursor.
Yes.
There we go.
I love it.
So let me see the four. These are winners. And we got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I'll summon you all. Here we are in our new own called cursor dance exercise, and having these 3 gray can we questions who are all voted equally. And I'm just going to take the first one and do the same exercise as we did before. So please wiggle your mouse on the interest line so I can define the location of the post-it.
Okay. Oh yeah, that. Can we enforce the one?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll read it for all. Yeah. Can we enforce that all hydrogen must be produced in a green manner? So can we enforce that all hydrogen must be produced in a green manner? Well, that's a really clear one. I will put it in right here. For the next one, can we convince our political leaders to change into hydrogen? So that's a little less priority over here. And the last but not least, can we be able to reduce cost of producing, transporting, and storing hydrogen? All right, that has a high priority. So that will be, in this case, our winner. So we vote that one as the third can we question. So thank you for that. That's really a good team effort for this exercise. Okay. So now I'm collecting all we have done for now.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see, the time is 1:30. Great. We're perfectly on track. So for a little bit of a recap, Lisa, could you maybe help me out of what we did for the exercises? We did 3 exercises and we ended up with this as a result. Maybe you can help me state them all up. Thank you.
So essentially, we started a call with a summary of the interview with Mario, and looked at the how might we's that have been written by the whole team into actually. I can ask you to follow my mouse now. Ta-da! Okay. So we started with the interview and the how might we questions that were prepared prior to our session. And then we used those how might we questions in order to, where was that? Yeah, put them into an affinity diagram. That was the next step, right? Am I missing something in between?
It's perfect, yes.
Is it correct? Or is there
yes. Yeah.
Cool. So we took the how might we questions that were prepared from an interview and put them in an affinity diagram together as a team. We came up with a bunch of categories, looked at different how might we's that are double, and marked them in certain colors. And then we did a voting round. Out of this voting round came not 3, but 5 how might we's. And then in order to make a concise selection, we put them on arranged by interest. We were all wiggling our mouses. Came up with 3 how might we's in the end. Where do I see them actually?
That would be on the top, exactly.
Pasta. Yeah, cool. So we have a top 3 how might we pasta up there. So that was step number 1, the how might we affinity diagram and selecting the top 3. Out of those, we went to step number 2 and actually looked into the long-term goal, which is a super optimistic vision for the next 2 years, even though we will only be looking at a 1 year outlook later. So we took the 3 top how might we's and then I started writing statements starting with in 2 years time, and thought about optimistic visions that could come out of our how might we's if we do the challenge right. Again, after coming up with a bunch of ideas on 2 years time on long LTG solutions, basically, or visions, we put them into an affinity diagram like in the last step, and put them in categories, clustered them, and then did a voting again, out of which came 5 again, I think. No, this time we just had, how many LTGs did we end up with? Just 1.
LTG is always 1.
Yeah, I just wondered how many we were voting on, but actually that was a little amount of votes that you gave us. That's true. So our top LTG in this case is in 2 years' time, 80% of hydrogen production will be green. And with that, we answered our top 3 how might we's, which I didn't say before, so I'm going to state them now. How might we produce more hydrogen with green energy? How might we make hydrogen more attractive than electric in the public transportation system of our cities? And how might we change the conversation from there only being one alternative fuel winner? And the LTG answering that was in 2 years' time, 80% of hydrogen production will be green, because apparently that was an important vision in order to make. After the LTG, we went to the 3rd and last step of the session, which is the can we sprint questions, which is the opposite, the pessimistic and rather realistic point of view, thinking about everything that could go wrong and asking questions on how we could prevent that. So again, we came up with a bunch of questions all together in a team, started voting on them. Out of the voting, the affinity diagram came before the voting. We came up with clusters and different topics, and then we did the vote as a team, out of which came 5 can we questions. And then we did the cursor wiggle dance and came up with 3 can we questions for the end of the session, which are, can we open up the conversation to have more than 1 fuel winner? Right? Those are the 3. Just double checking. It's the same as up top. Yes. Can we convince the transportation industry to change to hydrogen, and can we be able to reduce cost of producing, transporting, and storing hydrogen? So the 3 dangers basically were, I would say, the conversation about hydrogen, and just having 1 winner in that, which is electricity right now. The second topic or fear was about the industry to have to be convinced to actually be willing to change to hydrogen. And the third part was the costs, which are also a huge part in this production, transport, and storing of hydrogen. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, that's quite a lot what we did already today. So, and I think this is mostly always the hardest part, starting a sprint. For now, I'm gonna summon Jeroen for a sec. So I'm gonna check him in with the Zoom link. Let me see.
Ian, just congratulations to you and Lisa as well, because that's the fastest I've actually gone through in the first day. So. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, you did it. It's all you. You did it, not me. It's all a team effort, you know. So
you read Rob's guide very well on facilitator, how to behave. Like it's all, the benefits are all on the team, the faults are all on yours, right?
Yeah, we all do it together. So
yeah,
thank you for you too. Well, we did a great job today, and we have a lot of ideas already with the how might we's and the can we's and the affinitograms, the goals. So everything which is in here is really good. Also, the things we didn't vote on, we can relate to on a later point if something is really interesting. So great work for that. And I think we have a little wrap up for today. So thank you very much for the recap, Lisa. So we will I will record this recording, send this recording also in Slack. So everybody who isn't in here or someone who wanted to look back at it and see what happened can do it at ease in their own time. What I will also do is that if I'm able, I will show you already the mural for tomorrow. So you have a little bit of an expectation what you can expect. And that's on the second day. 5, 4, 3, 2. And I'm gonna share my screen. Share. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So for tomorrow, we have a new session with a new mural. We have a new mural because we noticed that in the previous sprints, the really big one, it went really slow and slacking. So there are too many elements in mural, which made it really undoable to collaborate with a team with multiple users. So each day is a new mural. And for day 2, we have some lightning demos, which are going to relate to, sorry, I see that Jeroen is asking for a password. That's weird. Oh, yeah. One sec. Jeroen is trying to get in for the talent sprint, but he's having some difficulties, so we will be right there. Back to the mural. Lisa, maybe you will can explain a bit what the LGG, the lightning demo is a bit about?
Yeah, so in general, when you're doing a lightning demo, we have identified certain questions that we want to sprint, which are the can we questions. And those are actually the most important ones, the sprint questions. And what we want to do with the lightning demos is look into other fields of business, of other products, on how they solve similar challenges that we are facing right now. And in such a way, we can look into the best practices of other fields and then demo what they are doing and why that works, and then see if we can basically emulate some of those solutions into our solution that we will come up later. So it's basically a copying and pasting and putting in a new context. And for that, I think we have to do some research up front, no?
Yes, that should really be an offline exercise. So before the meetup for tomorrow, if you can manage, please look at these lightning decision as an offline exercise, and we'll take upon it what we have posted on here. And as Lisa said, thank you for that. Look at a broad, on different domains, look at similar concepts or ideas that related our results of today. So that's something we're going to do tomorrow, and after that.
And sorry, one question. We do that
sure.
Around our what we have worked out right now. So you will put in day 1 results, and then we do it around the top 3 questions.
Exactly. So
and not the how might we's and not the long-term goal, but the 3 questions. Or is that open to?
During the sprint and on each mural for each day, I will copy all the results of what we have done. Mm-hmm. So if you see my shared screen, you will see on the top the day 1 results. I will place that 3 how might we's, the long-term goal, and the 3 sprint questions on there. And you can always go back and relate on what we have put in there, because that's the direction we go. So always relate to those topics.
Okay.
So Ian, are we actually putting any limit on the LDJs? How many we're doing?
Everybody does 1 usually during a sprint. Or do you want more than 1? I mean, sometimes 2 come up per participant, but
what would you suggest? Because 1 was voted the most, but that's because we had lesser dots. So
yeah, maybe 2 per person. I don't know, how many people do you think are going to participate tomorrow?
I will try to do at 1, but I cannot commit to 2.
I think we will have enough.
usually that's not so much work, you know, you're just looking for ideas and then you're just writing down a few things in prompts, and it's not writing a thesis at all. For instance,
it's even just screenshots as well.
yeah.
So help me out. What would you suggest? Because
How many do you have on here? What was your desired outcome when it comes to the amount?
of lightning demos.
Yeah.
Well, I just was curious how much there were going to be around here. So normally, out of experience, it's normally, if we have got 6 team members, normally it would be 4 or 5 or 6 at max. So in that case, do whatever you manage, but we all got obligations, and it's hard on time management to make sure you can put something on. But if you manage to do a lot of more, then I would suggest to everybody do max 2, because what we're going to do tomorrow also is present the lightning demo. I'm going to give a little bit of a presentation on why you chose that one and which features you like about that lightning demo. And if we have too much, we won't make it in time for our next meeting.
Yeah. And I also think if we put a limit on it, you tend to like
focus,
concentrate more on the quality rather than the quantity, right?
Agree. So let's agree that max 2, and if 1, it's perfectly okay.
Okay. One question, actually. We agreed that I'm going to write a summary on what happened today. How detailed would that be? Would just be a message in the voice channel on Slack, right?
Yeah, in Slack and or preferably also on Basecamp, because for those who just want to focus on Basecamp, we'll put it on there too. And Lisa, I have an example of Mehmet, who was in my previous team in Sprint Talent, who did the similar thing. So I can give you a screenshot of how he did. So it's just a few sentences summary what we did. For example, what you just explained, that in a quick sentence, that would be great for the rest of the team members who couldn't be there tonight.
Yeah, cool.
I think having in Basecamp as well, if day by day the summary of overall sort of captures is really good, because for me, Slack just gets really like out of control. Yeah. You just can't keep track of it. Even the pinned version in Slack where you can pin messages, it's just clunky, you know, whereas Basecamp's just nice and clean.
Yeah. Well, here he is, the one and only. I don't know how to stop screen sharing myself. There we are. It was lost. Jeroen.
Hello.
Has sneaked in our sprint again, so welcome back.
So I heard from Ian, let's say, who's chatting with me on the side, that you're ahead of schedule. So it will be an early night for the people in Europe. And Michael has the whole day to work again.
Yeah.
So good morning. I thought maybe just to get a little bit in the flow of the talent sprint, because that's all what it's about. Let's do 2 people that are still on here and give you the opportunity to present yourself in a slightly different way. And again, this is not a test. This is just a way to show your creativity, your out-of-the-box thinking, or just your sense of reality. And I thought maybe I saw all the homework that you guys were doing. So the question is what to focus on. And I think, are we going to alternative fuels or not? Yes or no? But let's just sink in today's reality. And Andres, maybe if I can ask you the first question of this talent sprint on your side. If you had to compare yourself with a car, what feature would you represent in a car that you want to drive?
What feature?
Yeah, are you automatic gear shifts? Are you the fuel? Are you fuel economy sensor?
I'll be the fuel efficient.
And why? What makes you fuel efficient?
I try to make, for example, when I do projects, I try to be very efficient in what I do.
And how do others recognize that?
Excuse me?
How will others recognize that in you, that you are very efficient?
I don't know, the mileage per I don't know, per project.
So you do a lot. You
Yeah.
process a lot of work.
Yeah, we exactly produce a lot of work in short amount of time.
Okay, cool. Alexander, you are in Munich. Are you Munich based these days?
Ingolstadt, which is actually close to.
Okay, so the automotive industry is around the corner.
Yes, exactly.
If you had to compare yourself with a car brand from Bavaria, there are a few over there. Who would you feel most at home with, and why?
Well, there's an under brand of BMW, which is a Mini, which is like I would like to be seen. It's like it's smaller. It's not big because I'm I like to go in small steps and work like on the details and not so much on the broad picture. So it's like a smaller car, but still it's very creative, and it can curve around in very tricky ways, in very tricky situations. And actually that's often what I do. I find new ways of how to make revenue for other companies.
Okay, well, cool. I see Lisa smiling, so shall I take a guess and ask her as well? We can always do a second run tomorrow, but Lisa, if you had to compare yourself with an electrical new mobility concept, what do you feel most associated with? The moped, the electrical car, the scooter?
Definitely a Tesla. I'm sorry to admit that, but if you've ever been sitting in one, the way you can accelerate, how much you actually see around yourself, and the whole luxurious and innovative feeling is just amazing. So I was actually prepared to answer another question. So this is kind of very interesting that you're switching it up.
Yeah, of course, we have to keep it a little bit authentic and original, but why would you compare yourself with a Tesla? So you describe a lot of nice things, but is that also you? Is that Lisa?
Well, I would say definitely streamlined and innovative, and one of a kind, and very, how do you say that? Polarizing in a way too. Yeah. And accelerating really fast. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we can't do everybody tonight, so we'll have to leave something for the rest of the week. I hope that this gave you a little bit of flavor of how you can profile yourself in a different way. Sandy, and Sabrina will probably pick it up tomorrow. I'm online for help if needed, but I hope that you will enjoy the talent sprint ride as well a little bit during the coming days, and I look forward for the feedback and the let's say the highlights of your meetings over the coming 96 hours.
Before you close, I would like to mention something that I'm noticing, if I may, as you are interviewing us. And this is very interesting because usually I talk to people in such a way and I ask them uncomfortable questions about their work style and identity and personality. And what is lingering in the back of my mind is, what is your agenda, or what is your plan, what do you want to take over, and what are your possibilities and your network, and should I really feel comfortable revealing myself to you at the same time? So it's very interesting, a bunch of questions.
That's good. It's good to be honest and open. No, there's no hidden agenda. I just want to give you guys the opportunity to present yourself to each other. And that's for me a way of test driving my Tesla, which is called the talent sprint, to see whether it brings out qualities that others will recognize in you. That's the thing that I want to do. So if you think out of the box, how do you formulate that? If you're being tested on a thought on one of your ideas later, or your visual or your creative skills, how are you doing that? Yes, I'm recruiting, but not through this event, definitely not. I want to test the concept, and that's what we're doing here. So the only, let's say, agenda that we have is to give you the best possible time in the GVDS, and just a little bit of elevated experience, but there's nothing to worry about. What the worst thing that can happen is that people get to know you a little bit better.
Jerome, just one thing, you never should say there's nothing to worry about. That
Then
is
it's
a
what
bad,
to
it's a bad sentence.
I know.
You know,
It's my
like-
style. It's my style of communication. So,
But like the brain works, that it does not understand the not. So when you hear a sentence like that, I'm not a slave master. Then of course you think of me as a slave master.
you're totally right. I should know that. I've had those trainings as well. So I apologize for making that mistake.
Good man.
Trust me.
But I will back up Jeroen. Thank you very much, Jeroen. And I experienced this in my last sprint in Team Talent. And what I got was really some insights of how I show myself. And I'm an introvert. I have difficulty to speak out with what I do, who I am. And through the sprint, people gave me suggestions and honest feedback about how I did. And that was really, really helpful for me. So I've been recognized for features that give me thought to where should I work from or how people see me. So it's really interesting. So thank you for that, Jeroen, because I really liked it concept.
You're welcome.
It's all about empowerment. Yeah.
I hope that the rest can enjoy it to some extent as well during this week. And I look forward to all your feedback in 5 to 10 days from now.
Perfect.
Thanks for the question, Lisa. It was a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeroen.
Thank you.
Good luck. Bye-bye. All right. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock, so we did a perfect job. So normally it's a bit of a bumpy ride in the first day for sprints and for sprint teams, but we are just rocking it. So in that case, thank you very much.
That is why you have put in on an extra hour on this.
Yeah, because I had my first time was 3 hours. It lasted 3 hours.
Yeah.
So 4 hours with Michael.
Can we expect that efficiency with the other session? So when we have 2 hours, that we shrink it as well.
Yeah. Well, what I experienced now is that we did a really early kickoff, and that in one case did lose a bit of our momentum in the team because there was too much time between the kickoff and the actual sprint events. So that was really difficult to get everybody aligned and more clear what's going to happen, when are we going to start to do what. So I'm thinking about how I'm going to do that better. But I think also is that over that period of time, we get a little bit more common and more socialized and getting to know each other. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's more streamlined now, because we are more comfortable as a team already, because I've seen your faces multiple times before we started. So
we should all actually, for the next picture that we take with the next session, we should at least like do the thing with this. How is the tool called that you?
The background.
Snapchat.
Yeah.
Snapchat. Yeah.
Snapchat. I can share it
Snap
on
camera.
in
Yeah, Lisa loves it already, and she's really on it. She wants to have it. You can see that, yeah, right now.
2-3 years ago. I mean, do a video on TikTok and then we're talking. Seriously.
I did 3 videos on TikTok already. Okay, so we can talk.
So it's going to be a really cool
Yes,
next time.
yes.
Yeah, I've got them always ready, so no problem. I will share the application with you in Basecamp and Slack for those who just use Slack.
And for Zoom now that you've been using just now.
Sorry, no. Well, it's a Snap Camera. It's just an application. And if you download it and open it, it will be linked in the configuration of other video tools. And just give me a sec. I will share my screen. Just my desktop.
But you also have to go to Zoom and under where it says stop video with the little icon, just select the Snap Camera in the drop down.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. You go to the Zoom preferences and then video, and there is a little camera feature here, Snap, and you can switch to Snap Camera when you installed it. So and if you select that one, it will use that Snap Camera. It could be that you're not seeing it, then you have to restart the applications because it's not identified the installed application yet. So you can give that a try. And if not, just connect with me and I'll help you with it.
Sounds like wonderful nonsense.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really nonsense.
I knew it, Lisa. I knew it.
Something useful, okay? So when we're not on the video call, that's what I
Great.
video camera. Yeah, and it's always closed because I'm a little paranoid person.
You never know. Really smart, Lisa. So, but it's always good to have a little bit of fun during the sprint. So whoever wants to, feel free. I love it.
Michael felt free. That's great.
Yeah, great. I like that one.
But Robert has a unicorn, and it's not a Snapchat. No, it's different.
Yeah, the background feature is a feature of Zoom, and unfortunately, that also depends on your processor of the computer, I think, because my processor doesn't accept that feature. So I don't know how that works exactly.
Interesting. Okay. Because I find it much more interesting to not show my whiteboard. You know?
Yeah.
My face, to be honest. Okay.
I don't know if anybody else in the team has tried that out. Because that's not a snap camera; it's a zoom feature.
It's a zoom feature.
Yeah.
Where do I find it when I'm here? Actually, where do I have to?
I think somewhere beneath there is an icon between video and mute somewhere. I can't see it, so I don't know how.
Okay. Then okay.
And there's an arrow, and somewhere in that menu you can change your background.
Choose a virtual background. I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Video.
Right, and then you can add one. And then you have to select a picture that you have. Apparently.
Exactly.
It may or may not work depending on your spec for your computer as well.
Yeah.
But it mirrors it. That's kind of strange.
But in Zoom you can the settings to unmirror it again.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, true. Cool.
Michael.
Something unexpected. That's cool.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes it just goes berserk. So.
That's for the last hour, right? So snap camera for the last hour.
The longer we do the sprint, the crazier it gets.
The question is, can I combine the snap cam with the background? Because then
some of them,
yes,
not
you
all
can.
of them.
That's the funny thing about it.
Yeah.
Ooh, now you're just showing off.
And you make a TikTok video.
Yeah, no, I thought you're doing this externally and not in Zoom. And I was just wondering why you would still use Snapchat on a phone. That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
What socials are you guys using actually?
To be honest, I don't have time for socials. So.
Instagram.
I focus on Instagram and a little bit of TikTok. As an online marketer, I wander around through the different things. LinkedIn is actually for business a huge one, and I skipped Xing, and I quite skipped Facebook because I don't like the stream. I think it drags me too much in, and it wastes way too much time, and as well mentally it is not good for me. Just to be too much in my bubble. Oh. The power is with you, Andres.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael, that's now really getting weird.
All right, guys. I'm going to go and get some coffee.
Yes.
Well, we are done. We're done for today. So enjoy the hour we have left. So it's some extra time. Because for now we are actually done. So I don't know if everybody else has any questions for today or needs something. Otherwise,
the only thing I could suggest is, and this is for something for Robert as well. It's like It might be for any sort of difficult parts of the sprint. I think just a short Zoom or Loom, video would be helpful just before going into it. Just so, because I just find that I see the difference between today when people are kind of have an idea of what we're doing compared to like the very first one where it was really confusing for a lot of people, and it literally doubled the time. It was just dragged out massively. So
Yeah.
I've
noticed for the alumni people who did the first GVDS, you see how much the quality goes up, the efficiency goes up. So the more we sprint with the same people or we know each other better, the virtual sprints get better. So
yeah, for sure. Like, definitely.
But that's quite logical in my opinion.
Mural as a tool, or doing the actual design sprint exercises?
Well, the virtual design sprint. So indeed, using Mural, yeah. Because everybody knows his way around, knows how it works, knows what the fallbacks can be, that the bad internet connection or the setup or timings. You have to get used to them for those who are unfamiliar with it, because you can be a little bit overwhelmed for the first time if it all happens so fast and you don't know how to use Mural. So, but that's only a good case, because the more we do this and the more people who would do this, the more opportunity we get to do great stuff virtually and remotely. So it's really interesting.
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
So
can you still send me the screenshot of how it's supposed to be done? And also, where is the Basecamp link? Because I didn't get to check that out beforehand. Is that in the team?
I will make sure you get all the information for. I will put it on the Slack in the personal chat. I will put on the links.
Could you actually put the Basecamp link, pin it on the Team Voice channel?
Sure.
That would be fine as well, because I have it somewhere in my emails, but I have a lot, and
I will put it back on as many times as you need. So we'll put it on the Team Slack.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great night, everybody. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.
Bye.
On Slack.
Bye.
Bye.